So, breaking news update, folks, and unfortunately, not really a good one if you're a fan of Indian football. The Kings Cup was underway today, and truth be told, a lot of Indian fans were actually quietly confident that they would be able to beat Iraq in that semi final, which would, of course, then see them make it to the final and potentially be in contention to win the Kings Cup. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a, let's say, dampener that Iraq ended up winning on penalties. But truth be told, there are two major things that are worth talking about in this particular match. One was, of course, the late red card to one Zidan Iqbal of Iraq. And the second, and perhaps the most important, which I'm sure a lot of you all would be wondering, was that second penalty really a penalty? And the short answer to that is no. It most definitely was not a penalty. At least I've never seen those given. Even in the era of VAR, it's generally not given if there's a bit of a coming together between two defenders and a forward where there was no intention whatsoever from the defender to actually bring down the player. I think Jingan was hard done by in the second goal. It should not have been a penalty by any stretch of the imagination. Yet the levels of officiating in this particular match were pretty shambolic, and that is me being very polite. It wasn't really the Thai referee, whoever it was who was in charge of this match, was doing a terrible putrid job of keeping a control of things, and the match didn't really get out of hand for the most part. But even at the times when there were some questionable calls that were going on, the referee definitely didn't have much control of the game. And unfortunately for India, they ended up getting the short end of the stick when that second penalty was given. And I was surprised because the Iraq players were appealing a lot. Obviously, I think more of hope than anything else, because they also knew that there might have been an outside chance that, let's say, the referee might give it. He did give it, and I think a lot of people were very surprised because, again, it was one of those things where, at the end of the day, football is very much a contact sport. There is going to be contact. It's not in a sport like basketball where there's a little bit of contact and fouls are given. This was, a coming together of sorts wherein the defender wasn't really looking at the player and the attacker and vice versa. And therefore, I just didn't understand the logic of giving a penalty for that. And after that, you could clearly see, even head coach Igor Stimac on the touchline was furious, to put it politely. And after that, he stopped being on the touchline. And once it went to penalties, though, I'd say this is where really you can say that this is one of those things where India did have their destiny in their hands, in the sense that they could have perhaps done better in the penalty shootout, because it really came down to fine margins. Remember, what happens in a penalty shootout where one team has 10 men is that only 10 players from both sides will take the penalty. So India had the option to nominate one player who would not take a penalty, and normally, considering normal circumstances, that would most likely be a goalkeeper. Unfortunately for India, the very first penalty from Brandon Fernandez was missed, but many would also rightly make the case that it shouldn't have even gotten to penalties in the first place, because that second penalty goal, or that second penalty for Iraq, it just wasn't a penalty. It was a very harsh decision. It should not have been given, and India will rightly feel hard done by. And in fact, I think if you're focusing on the positives from this match, India would be very proud of the kind of effort that they've shown, because again, this is a team that are ranked about 29 places higher than them. India are ranked 99th, and Iraq are ranked 70th in the world. Yet this was, in fact, India were really in this match, and twice they ended up taking the lead, only to twice be denied by penalties. In fact, to give you another example of how poor the refereeing was, Sandesh Jingan, when that first penalty was given away, was shown a yellow card, and I kept thinking, why? A handball is not reason enough to show a yellow card, especially when in this case there was no clear intent. I mean, obviously, it was a penalty because Jingan's hand was at an unnatural angle away from his body. But due to that, it was a penalty, but it wasn't a yellow card because there was clearly no intention to stop the ball with his hand. So it was very confusing, very poor refereeing all around, and India should actually take plenty of pride from this match. They actually went toe-to-toe with, and generally speaking, outplayed this team as well. In fact, definitely, if you're looking at it, this Iraq team definitely has a lot of star players. The man who got sent off, Zidan Iqbal, is someone who is seen as a prodigy coming through the Manchester United, academy. Someone who recently left the team, joined FC Utrecht in the Dutch league, the Eredivisie, and he's someone who's seen as someone with plenty of potential, plenty of spark. The most notable contribution he could make against this India side was getting sent off for slapping Brandon Fernandez, and even that was very stupid of him. I never understood why he needed to go for the slap. Yes, your t-shirt was being tugged, But if you had to tuck the other guy's t-shirt back, you'd have both gotten away with yellow cards at best. Instead, you lashed out like an amateur, ended up getting yourself sent off, and truth be told, could have cost your team there, because again, what if it came down to penalties and Iraq had to miss a couple of penalties, and they had lost out? Then people would have been pointing a lot of fingers at Zidane Iqbal. So I think Iqbal himself is a lucky boy, and India very unlucky, but plenty of heart to take from this performance. It was a good performance, you can say, from Igor Stimats's men. Mahesh got a good goal. Akash Mishra was, at the right place at the right time to get that second goal. Just, luck didn't favor. In fact, I'll take a couple of comments. As you can say, Rohit Roy saying that, luck was not with India, not a penalty, and India played better, but unfortunately lost out in the shootout. That's just how life works. And in fact, even Sahil Vik points out that that decision was wrong. Wholeheartedly agreed, but that is it. Unfortunately for India, they can't be lifting the Kings Cup, but they could potentially, I think, be favourites to finish third, because they'll take on either one of Thailand or Lebanon. Thailand are the weakest team in this particular league, in this particular tournament rather, and Lebanon, well, India have had the beating of Lebanon recently, so still one more match to go and plenty of positives to take. Don't forget, this is build up for the Asian Games as well as the AFC Asian Cup, so you got to take the positives, and there were plenty. That is one good thing if you're an Indian football fan. Unfortunately though, the result didn't go their way. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment. What were your thoughts on the match? We'd love to hear from you. Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and don't forget to download the SportsTak app as well. Plus, if you're already on the channel, go right ahead, check out some other videos we've done. For now, from my side though, it's bye-bye.